Hello crafty friends! In this video I'm going to make a card using the parameters from this week's Craft Roulette. How far will I stretch them this week? Let's find out. Alright, let's get started. So this video is going to be a little different. Normally I dub it over, but I'm going to try something a little different because I've been struggling with making the video and then dubbing it and editing it and getting it out quickly. So I'm going to try it this way. See how it goes. I have barking dogs to deal with and children and husbands that interrupt. So we'll see how it goes. All right. So the parameters are, let me check. Just want to make sure that I don't accidentally do a wrong parameter, which happens. So let's get started. The first thing I'm going to do is glue this panel down the center because then I want to run my die cut that puts the stitching holes in the same spot so that then I can put the stitching, because I'm not gonna, I love the look of stitching, but I don't have time to get out a sewing machine. So I'm not gonna do that. Actually, I lied. The first thing I'm gonna do, which would have been after I cut the paper. So the second thing I'm gonna do is ink the edges, and I'm going to do with walnut stain just to kind of go with the forest as I ink. All right, let's ink the edges. I used to use Vintage Photo, but then I got this mini cube of walnut stain. And I like this one more lately. It's a little deeper, maybe a little less orange. So I've been happy with this one. And I'm going to kind of go in a little bit, not just the edge, but kind of give the outside. Ooh, as I'm doing this, I'm thinking to also add, I'm going to put the stamp, over this with white to go back to that paper, but maybe I should run this through an embossing folder to give it a little more, see, the problem is then I'm going to run it through to put the stitching marks, and that may flatten, probably will flatten the texture. So I'm not going to do that. Okay, I mean, the stamp's fairly big, so I think it'll cover a lot of it anyway. So let's get my stamping die. my stitching die. I'll be right back. Okay, here's my stitching die. I don't have who to buy. I'm terrible with that. I just take them out of the package and file them. So if I can find it, I will link it below. So this is the one that is wonky. So I'm going to use this one. So, and which still have paper in it. I have to poke out. There it comes. I have to glue this onto this so that I can put it through. Actually, I think instead of glue, I'm going to use double stick tape. And I'm not going to put any there just to make it easier to go through the die cut machine. Double stick tape in the middle. Let's eyeball this in the center. Looks good. Press it down. Now I'm going to run this along here so that the stitch marks will be on this side and this side. So I'm going to run this through my die cut, and then I'm also, actually, while I'm over there, going to run this through in a green. Let me see. Let me go through my scraps. So I have this scrap bucket that I put pieces of paper that are kind of like that. And can I get 2 from this? Probably not. Let's see if I have any more of that color. Yeah, that one will work. All right, I'm gonna run that color through. Or should I do a darker color, actually? It's a little bright. I mean, it's still foresty, but there isn't any of that green in here. Like maybe that green. Although that green's nice because it's bright. Let me see. What other scraps do I have? I have this color. Is this long enough? Oh, it's just long enough. I think I'm going to do it in that color. All right. Let me cut my pieces out and I'll be right back. Hey, just a quick reminder, please like and subscribe. Thank you. Okay, finished that. Paper out of here. I'll put that back. And this one back. And then I also, off camera, and I don't know if I'm going to use it, but I also have, did not come with this stitching set, but I added it to the way that I file my die cuts. I thought that these little bows could work sometimes when I use that particular die. And it was just a small little die of bows that I got somewhere. So because they were on the same sheet, I cut them out of the same green. I don't know if I'm going to use them, but I figured I would cut them out and put them to the side so I have them if I decide I want to use them. So let's see. Now I purposely, I'm going to poke some more of these out. This is pokey tool from the Dollar Tree. And I have quite a few. It actually comes in a 2-pack for the dollar. I guess it's $1.50 now. And I keep one on my desk and I keep one by my die cutting machine so that I can poke out there as well. And it works great. Okay. So now this one goes here and you have to kind of line it up because it is wonky where it like kind of goes in the holes. That. Okay, now this is very interesting to glue. I'm gonna try the new people have been doing where they kind of paint the glue on with this tool, which I made. I got this at Hobby Lobby and I cut it. So let me get what I use for glue, which is a back of a Dollar Tree cutting mat. I have quite a few items that I use from the Dollar Tree craft section. Parchment paper to put the glue on. It's pretty good glue, sticks pretty well. I just don't like the way it comes out of the bottle. So this is a good use for that. I store it this way in a caddy so that it's ready to use, because otherwise that glue doesn't come out, for me anyway. All right, let's see how I do. Okay, I got glue on that one. Move that over. Make sure we line this up right. All right. Now let's do the other side. We'll dab it on. Man, this is some sticky glue. Okay, and then make sure it's going in the right direction. Okay. There we go. Let's see. It's definitely wonky. All right, fun. Now I'm gonna put this on my card base. Use some of my Okay, I'm going to set that aside to dry. And now I'm going to stamp my stamp that I picked. That goes along with the toy theme. And probably use a sentiment from this set as well. And I'll put that over there, get my stamping platform. All right. I think I'm gonna do, depending on how this stamp stamps, this is a stamp I got in a gift, like a grab bag at a church, so I don't know what stamp brand it is. So I don't know how well it's gonna stamp. And I have noticed Memento is what you can use for the Copics. Or do I do colored pencils? No, I think I'm gonna do Copics. So I'm gonna do Memento. Unless it doesn't stamp well, then I may change my mind. So let's see how Memento stamps. Not bad. Let's see. It needs another hit of it. It's not real crisp. I think I'm going to flip it over and I'm going to stamp it with VersaFine, and which then I wouldn't be able to use my Copics. Then I'll just use colored pencils. So let me wipe the Memento ink off. And that's why when sometimes you see in my video, when you see my stamp flipped over, sometimes you'll see a stamp on the back, because I often stamp both sides with different kinds of ink to see how I like the way the stamp looks. See, that looks so much better. Now I could clear emboss it, and then I could use Copics, which is a possibility. But I think I'm going to do colored pencils because of the sort of color palette that we're going with. It's going to be those kind of rustic colors anyway. So I think colored pencils will work. I do want this to dry just a little because it's going to take a little bit longer. So I'm going to put this over to the side. Alrighty, let's get to coloring. Let's start with the dog. What color are we going to do the dog? Because I'm going to cut this out, so I'm going to use over here sort of my scrap colors. Then I'm going to take the lighter shade and color in the rest. Okay, now I'm going to use a really thin paper stub, that's what I call them. Dip it in my Zest It and blend them together. I think he needs a little bit of some darker areas. Okay, he's cute. Alrighty, black nose. Blend it. Now I left a little white for the highlight. Okay, I colored some off camera. I was having some trouble with these paper stumps. Apparently not all are created equal. So my next color I want to do is, I want to make this one craft, or close to it. Cute. And then this I'm going to do some greens. Now this package I'm going to do with the lighter green and then one that's even lighter. Let's do some of that green over here. And let's do a brown box here. Okay. What color should we make that star? Let's do it red. All right, so we have this package over here. That's probably the wonkiest. Oh, and then we have to color in that tag. I think we should do another brown. Okay. A red tag and a red bow. And let's add a little dark to this bag. Okay. Now we have to do that tag and we're done. So it looks like a snowman. So let's do this green in here. And let's make this tag this green. Okay. Okay, I cut him out with the die. Okay, I felt like the card needed something a little extra. So I put some of that green from the stitching through a sweater embossing folder. And I'm going to put that alongside. I know it has a seam, but this is going to hide that. Okay, I'm going to rip this vellum because I still want it to be like straight. Ooh, I know. New idea. I have, which I'm going to get out, old-fashioned scrapbooking scissors that I'm going to cut edge with. Let's see. How do these cut? Oh, that's good. All right. About here. Definitely wonky. And then I'll put this like here. And then that popped up. And then a sentiment. I think that card will be good. All right, let me glue all this down and I'll be right back. Okay, so my last step is I stamped this sentiment in pine from Positively Saturated Inks. I like them. They have some cute, nice colors. So that matches this cardstock pretty good. Still goes along with the forest colors. So I want to pop this up. I want it to be here. Let's get some foam squares. So I'm going to use these foam squares here. in here. Now, is that enough to pop up? Let's see. It needs like a half of one there. Do I have thinner? Let's see. These are thinner. Let's put a thin one. Let's put a thin strip here. Oh yeah, that fits. Perfect. Take the backs off. Let's do a parameter check. Project holiday card. Colors forest. I went with green and brown. And then toys. There's toys in those presents. And then random wonky. My wonky stitching. And I think this stamp's a little wonky. And there you go. There's my Christmas card made. Craft Roulette. Never used this stamp yet before. So that's what I love about Craft Roulette. Thanks so much for watching. Have a crafty day.